Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. You were just listening to some Aggie basketball right here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. We felt comfortable enough with the 21-point lead that the Ags are currently carrying with the last 350-ish left in this ball game that we could take over here on 97.5. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. If you're still dying to get that Aggie emphatic finish over the UNLV Rebs, who've been such a thorn in their dang side this year, go over to 1280 a.m. You can still get Scotty's call right there. J-Cat sitting in for Jeremiah Jensen, who is also going to be down at the Mountain West Tournament, among other things, down in the southern Utah and the Nevada area of this world. Yeah, no better place to spend the this beautiful weekend of. An early spring. What are we? It's going to be 90 degrees next week, by the way, in St. George. I saw.
Well, it's going to be 80 here.
And 80 here.
Yeah.
So, got the golf clubs all dusted off, and
I'm going to have to get them dusted off.
Told you.
Let's put it that way.
We started up the men's league already at Davis.
Yeah, my men's league hasn't started yet.
Oh,
I'm just baffled.
I think we've been playing it since I honestly actually did play a round of golf on Christmas Eve this year.
Good for you.
At Davis, yeah. They opened it up. Walking only. It was awesome.
This is a winter you could play quite a bit.
This was definitely one that you could do it with. So we'll keep you covered, of course, and we'll give you that final of the Aggies game when it does go final. And we got tons going on here. Yak, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Absolutely.
These are always, anytime you fill in, it becomes the longest radio day of anybody at the station because you've been in here since, I don't know, 5 in the morning?
I skipped out for a little bit when I got some lunch with my wife and youngest son, so it was good.
Good. All right. Well, I don't feel as bad now. So, yes, Aggies up on UNLV. BYU with the big win last night over West Virginia. I did not have in the cards that the Cougs were going to go and hold the Mountaineers to 48 points. Of course, their best defensive effort of the year comes in the second round of the Big 12 Conference Tournament. And there you go. Kansas City, they've gotten a couple wins, and that's good enough, I think, for a lot of people to feel like that they've done enough, especially when they're facing number 5 Houston tonight for their third night in a row of some conference championship basketball against a very rested Houston Cougars team. So let's kick off the program here. Let's talk some more of this college basketball. Talk a little bit about how that BYU game went. We'll start to make some assumptions on how seeding could go, whether or not BYU wins this game tonight or not. Let's just jump in right here. Let's get going with the program officially. It is The Cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Country roads take them home, back to the place where they belong.
Story about this. My wife has been mortified since last night. She's like, "You did not." I'm like, yes, I did.
See, the thing is my wife. Okay, now listen. I've been getting hassled about this.
I think it's hilarious. I had a great time with him.
Listen, I'm the same way. I'm like, any excuse that I have to throw down some Johnny D, some John Denver, let's go. And it was pointed because it's a slight against the Mountaineers, who beat BYU 10 days ago at their place.
Well, yeah, 11 days as of yesterday. So yeah.
So yeah, I mean, look, please tell me that's not. We didn't hear the rest of it. We got to get the.
That was about it. It was like about 3-4 seconds worth. But I was having some fun with it. But legitimately, Mrs. Hatch sent me a message and said, "You did not just sing on the internet, did you?"
Yep.
Yes, I did.
I saw it last night. I saw it last night, and I went, oh, "That's fun."
Yeah.
And I went, I could maybe get him in the karaoke studio. We could practice up.
I'm not gonna. Here's the thing, and I don't know how much you know my background. My mom and my grandma.
Definitely as a singer, right? Isn't that where you're going to go with this?
No. My mom and my grandma are both like vocal coaches.
Oh, okay.
Like they coach people who are actually like really good singers.
Wow.
That did not come down to my level.
Sister Hatch has been disappointed in you her whole life. She's like,
a little bit, just a little bit.
I just wanted a mezzo alto when you were a kid, and then I wanted. See, and I'm the opposite. I'm the guy who My mom, same way, vocal major in college, and she did pass it on to me, and I was forced to sing so much as a kid. So many Christmas concerts that I was forced to sing at. And you know what? Maybe a better person, all right? So thanks, Mom.
Yep.
Bottom line is, it's not going to be the last time, I hope, that we hear Yock singing Country Roads.
We'll
but yes,
see.
the Cougs get the dub last night. How about a 20-point win over West Virginia, though? I didn't see that coming. I didn't see them holding West Virginia to 48 points in a season, Jake, that we have, I would assume, I think it's been multiple times that they've given up more than 48 points in a half against multiple teams because defense has not been the calling card of this team. They get the 20-point win, and it wasn't even a great shooting night for AJ. It was another night where you're leaning on some guys who, I mean, ever since Richie went down, you're looking around going, who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be the person to help out? Who's going to be the person who can be, who could answer that call? And guess what? It was Kennard Davis. It was, you saw Dominique Diamande, who also showed up last night, which I thought, that's fun. This guy's getting, the windmill dunk was a emphatic moment of that game. And on a night that BYU didn't shoot particularly well, they got what they did from AJ, which was an 11 for 24 night. At one point, he was 9 for 22, and then he ended up making his last 2 field goals. But he wasn't shooting particularly well. BYU was awful from the three-point line, except for Kennard Davis, who showed up the last 2 games from behind the arc. And this is exactly what they need: is people showing up other than AJ. AJ having big nights, even though it wasn't a great night for him, it still is better than everybody else. In a 27-point game to be the encore to his 40-point game in game 1. It's been a good one so far for BYU. I think a lot of people are at least breathing a tiny sigh of relief on going into the NCAA tournament with these guys with a couple of wins under their belt.
Well, and the nice part is you talked about the fact that guys like Dominic Diamande are being given the opportunity to kind of show what they're capable of. Now, there's obviously going to be an inevitable question. Well, where's this been all season long? Here's the deal. I've watched every BYU basketball game pretty close all year long. Dominic Diamande looked, for lack of a better term, lost multiple times when given opportunities previous to this. I don't know what clicked, but he's figured something out. You mentioned Moo Davis. Moo's kind of been lost too, and he just hasn't been shooting the ball well. He's turning it on at the right time. That's what you need from this BYU basketball team. But the crazy thing, Alex, is do you know what the previous season low in Big 12 play for BYU in terms of points given up was before last night?
Oh, I think I did see this tweeted out. Maybe Greg Rebel tweeted out. It was something it was in the 60s.
It was
60s,
69
right?
points to Iowa State when they upset Iowa State in Provo. A full 21 points better. We haven't seen BYU play this type of defense literally all season long, especially in Big 12 play. So it was an impressive performance for the Cougars. Now, that's West Virginia. Tonight,
Country Roads.
Yes.
Take
well
them
done.
home.
He was waiting for the magic
Back
word.
I know, he's waiting for it.
I saw that finger
they
hovering. And I was
belong.
like, "Is Jake gonna cuss? Is he on the dump button?"
No, but
Even worse, he's singing.
No, but Houston tonight is going to really test BYU's mettle.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, BYU. It's kind of interesting when you play in these tournaments because.
Yeah.
I mean, AJ DeBonta must just absolutely be gassed. For whatever version of gassed that AJ could be. The guy's answered every call. But again, 39 minutes last night, 40 the night before.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is he's doing this thing where he is being asked to do this. You knew he had to. We asked JT earlier in the week, Jonathan Tavernari, about it. He goes, I think the question from JJ was, hey, do they have to have just these insane games from AJ? Or are they going to get somebody who's going to be able to show up in this thing? He goes, yes. Meaning both. You got to have an insane night from AJ every night. Now, against Kansas State, you can kind of get away with it. Against a West Virginia team who decided to have their worst shooting night of the entire year, perfect. You get 27 out of AJ, and then you have guys like, Rob Wright had 11 points. He's dealing with getting busted in the face and having that swollen lip. It just is funny because it's a mouth injury, and yet he's not 100%. Like now, he's not himself.
Yeah,
it just is
trust
crazy.
me, he wasn't playing at peak capacity last night, and nor should he have been.
Sure.
Because when you have your grill rearranged, you have to have a dentist go into the locker room and be like, "Hey, that tooth that's back in your." Like we got to fix all. Yeah, so
pull that thing out. Get going.
He's obviously he probably had some he had that shot up, obviously, and he did take a forearm to the kind of the grill early on in that game, and I'm sure that didn't feel great considering what he had done the day previous to that. But I was really impressed that BYU, you're getting what you're getting from AJ, because AJ's proven yet again that he is, in my opinion, the top pick in the NBA draft. We can debate that if you want, but the way he's playing on both sides of the ball screamed to me that he is going to be the number one pick. But you need more than that, Alex. And when they lost Richie Saunders, you heard Kevin Young talk about it. So senior night, post-game press conference, he talked about he's on what he called his third iteration of this team. He talked about we kind of started the year, had Dawson Baker. He goes down. We had to kind of morph into what they called their big three with Richie, Rob, and AJ kind of leading the way. Then Richie goes down against Colorado, and they've had about 10 games. I'd have to do the math on it. It might be 12 games now since Richie went down with that injury. And they're finally figuring out how to operate with this current roster that they have that's available to them. And it's the right time to have gotten it figured out because they've won 2 games, 3 straight games, but 2 games in Kansas City. But the stiffest test is tonight against Houston. And you talk about the fact, whatever version of gassed for AJ there is, it's going to show up tonight because you don't play 3 straight games in 3 straight days and not have some level of fatigue weigh in when Houston hasn't played at all since Saturday.
Regardless of what happens tonight, I think most people think, look, even if you play tough against Houston, beating the Cougars seems like a pretty tall task because of how.
Well, let's see. Do you guys know how many times BYU's beaten Houston in Big 12 places?
Oh, has it been 0 times?
They're 0-4
yeah.
since joining the league.
And not only that, Houston has their number when it comes to, they're like, we're going to slow you down so much. And speaking of nights that they don't have a lot of points, it's against teams like Houston.
Yep.
Houston keeps them absolutely. They slow the game down to their pace that they want, and they also just are dogs on defense. They're really, really good. Houston is also the number 5 team in the country, so they're really dang good, and they know how to win these ball games. In the national championship game last year, I look at Kelvin Sampson and I go, that guy is probably the best coach overall in this conference and has been and probably will be as long as he's in the conference, and that's with a very deep coaching conference. But you have this elder statesman. They haven't played for the last 7 days. They're all rested up. They've been rubbing their hands together going, I bet we're going to play BYU. They know exactly what they're going to get with the Cougars. And I don't anticipate that BYU is going to go 1-4 in their time against Houston, although you never count anything out during conference tournament time. That being the case, they don't need it. What is the reality of what BYU is going to do and be when Selection Sunday comes around? Is there a version of a 6th seed or a 7th seed that is on the line tonight for BYU as they take on Houston? Do you think it changes at all if they lose by 15?
If they lose by 15, I don't think it changes much. I think BYU is kind of firmly on that 6th seed right now. Now, you beat Houston against all odds because you're a pretty decided underdog. I think I last saw it at 8 points. I think was the difference in terms of what they're saying out there. You win that game against Houston, then you start challenging Alex for potentially moving up to the 5 seed line. In terms of what's on the line for BYU, I think they've kind of secured where they're going to be, even if they lose as we expect tonight, where they'll probably be sitting in a 6 seed. But if you start to put together a run here, the crazy thing is, you will remember this. It was the year I was interning here at KSL all those years ago. Remember Kemba Walker in the Big East tournament in UConn? Yeah. They won 5 games in 5 days.
So, and was that the year that, did they win the national championship as like a 7 seed that year?
No, they were 11 seed.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Something like that.
I remember them being a pretty high seed and being like, oh boy. But Kemba Walker was the best player in the whole country.
They went to the Big East tournament. They were like BYU. They were like a 10 or 11 seed. Yeah. And they had to win 5 straight games in 5 straight days. You beat Houston tonight, you're going to start to draw those comparisons to Kemba Walker and that UConn squad because of what you're doing. Now, like I said, that's much easier said than done, but that's the type of momentum you're trying to build here for BYU. And I don't necessarily think that losing tonight is going to affect your seed line, but whereas if you win, you're starting to talk about moving up.
Wouldn't that be wild if they moved up a seed line on a year that I think everybody looks at last year in terms of performance by the team overall.
Sure.
And it was a more impressive.
Well, Sweet 16 as a 6 seed is a good run. Yeah.
Well, but they were a 6 seed in the tournament, and I don't think anybody would look at this team and go, "Oh yeah, they're way better than last year's team. That's why they're a 5 seed." And you're like, "No, nobody felt great about 9-9 in conference play after last year's performance in their. I mean, I don't think they even played a game until the second or third day of the Big 12 or the Big 12 conference tournament, right? I can't remember what their seed line was in the conference tournament last year, but they ran into Texas Tech, of course, who was a very, very difficult team, another team that has BYU's number a lot these days. But by the way, Utah State Aggies, how about exacting some revenge over the UNLV running Rebs? It's gone final in Vegas, and they will be facing the winner of Grand Canyon and Nevada. That's not an easy one. Either one of those teams could come in there and make a run. Either one of those teams could win this conference tournament, frankly, as they get this thing going. But Utah State moved on a 20-point win and getting the monkey off the back with UNLV because UNLV was the team that was just the absolute thorn in their side this year.
Well, the Rebels, for whatever reason, had the Aggies number. So you're right. They got over the hump, and now I think it's actually going to help Utah State relax a little bit here because that first game, no matter when you play it in these conference tournaments, seems to always be the toughest one because you got the nerves. Obviously, you're like, okay, let's go out there and see what we're doing, and they have the added pressure of being the number 1 seed.
Mason Falslove ended the first half with 17 points. What did he end on, Annapolis? What was his final stat line? I know he had 22 at some point there, and they may have taken him out late because they were up by so much in the entire second half. But Mason Falslove proving why he's the best player in this conference and the player of the year in the conference. And Jared Calhoun continues to impress all the people that are looking for hiring another coach somewhere else. Yeah. And that's just been the vibe. If you come in and coach the Utah State Aggies, you'll probably get a $3 million raise at the end of everything. 24 points for Mason Falslove. And then you got 20 from MJ. And then what? And then, but yeah, 20 points, 80-60.
Sounds like UNLV went straight to the locker room afterwards.
Oh, no handshakes?
Well,
you know what?
I saw
I'm there
Kastner giving like a bro hug to Jared Calhoun, but yeah, there was I didn't see any player handshakes going on.
Well,
it
got chippy at the end. Listen, I'm there for it. I love it. That was their home court, and Utah State was the home team.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff I love.
Oh, boy.
We're doing this all day today, aren't we? I like this. My wife is just even more mortified now. She's gonna text me here in a minute. It's like, seriously, you let them? I'm like, no, I don't.
Just do a desert roads version of it for us to be able to play tomorrow.
We can do that.
Well, come on, let's do it.
Here's the thing about this: is Mason Falslove, and I heard Scotty talking about it. UNLV fans were arguing. I don't remember which player they were arguing for. I forget what his name is. He's been scoring in bunches all season long, and they were talking about him being like the Mountain. He should have been Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. Well, guess what? Mason Falslove won it, and I think he asserted himself today, saying, "Yeah, that conversation is over."
Good for them. I mean, look, and AJ DeBonsa's doing a little bit of the same thing for BYU, where it's like, "Oh, I'm not the Conference Player of the Year." Okay.
Yeah,
I'll show you that was wrong. Everybody kind of scratched their head and they're kind of going, all right, yeah, Arizona's third leading scorer. Sure, why not? Hey, you got freshman of the year honors, right? So that's just as good.
Yeah.
All right, so UNLV falls to Utah State. The Aggies move on, and now they are in the semifinals of the it's semifinals.
Semifinals, right? Yeah, quarterfinals today, semifinals tomorrow.
Semifinals tomorrow. And they'll be taking on the winner of Grand Canyon.
And that'll be a 7:30 tip, right, for us?
Yeah, 7:30 tip here.
So 7 o'clock pregame. Yeah.
7 o'clock pregame right here. And if they win, championship game is what I'm assuming 11 p.m.
No, it's actually a 4 p.m.
I'm
tip.
Just kidding. It'll be middle of the day.
Saturday.
Yeah, they want to get those things done earlier so that when Selection Sunday comes around, those guys start getting to the rest situation for the NCAA tournament. Great for Jared Calhoun and his guys. I don't know when the last time was that they've won, and have they ever won an outright regular season conference championship and then gone on to win the conference champion or the tournament, the conference tournament championship?
Good question.
I mean, the Aggies have done it all, it seems like, but I wonder if that's something that's that they've ever done in the Mountain West era. So
I'm wondering. I'm trying to think. Do you remember the 2020? When we didn't have the NCAA tournament.
I wonder if they had won both of those before they had.
Sam obviously wins the Mountain West tournament on that Big Three. I'm trying to remember if they actually won the regular season that year because they were so good that season.
Them and BYU that year, everybody laments. Everybody laments not having
what could have been with those two.
Not having those two teams who could have faced off in the Sweet 16. Frankly, they were both that good, and I think we were anticipating it at that point. But Mountain West basketball in 2020. I don't know if there's a let me see here. I'm doing some of this on the fly here. Mountain West Conference in 2020. Here were the standings. Nope, they 1920. Yeah, they were actually second. Do you remember to whom? The San Diego State Aztecs, who were number 6 in the country at that point.
One of Steve Fisher's great teams, yeah.
They were by far and away the best team in that conference on the year.
Yeah.
They went 17-1 in conference play. Utah State went 12-6, but Utah State goes in as the 2 seed.
Got it.
In that conference, and they went through and they won that thing. So
there you go.
Yeah, but again, that'd be something we'll have to. We'll text Scotty G in the next little while when he's not busy doing some post game, and then we'll.
Scotty, when you amidst your post game work,
just real quick, just jump over. Both signals on here to answer this question.
Exactly.
Come on. All right, let's take our first break of the day. JJ and Alex continues here. BYU moves on last night with a 20-point win. Mm-hmm. Utah State today moves on with a 20-point win over UNLV. They go to the quarterfinals. BYU also in the quarterfinals against Houston tonight, and that's going to be. What time is that tip off tonight? That's another 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, yeah, 5 o'clock tip. Yep.
They'll start off again during our show, and so we'll kind of get an idea of where that is, and we'll give you those updates when it happens as well. Bunch more of this program to go, so stay right here with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
You know what's coming.
Your daily deep dive into everything Utah Jazz.
It's time.
All season long and even in the off season. It's Jazz Daily with JJ and Alex on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's going to be that exciting time of our college basketball season, of course, when March Madness turns into April championships, and here we are, all the conference tournaments going on. It's an awesome time. It's a busy, busy time for all these guys on the networks who are just showing every conference championship, of course, across the board from conferences you don't ever hear of. And then on top of it, you've got all the big conferences that are all playing one another. And even if it's a quarterfinal game and you're a 17-15 Auburn team who's 6-0 against quad 4 teams, I mean, their resume speaks for itself. 6-0 against quad 4 teams.
Yeah. Well,
and because of Miami, Ohio's loss today to they're 1-0. They're 1-0 against quad 4, or they're 0-1 against quad 4 teams, or 4-1. Sorry, their one loss this year as they end an undefeated season. Yak is a loss to UMass.
Yep.
So a quad 4 loss going out in the quarterfinals, and now the debate begins on whether or not they should get in the NCAA tournament or not.
Country roads.
Oh boy, they're out.
Them home.
Yeah, they're out.
we're not going to take them home. Let Miami into the big dance.
You don't think they're going to go? Come on.
They've got to be in. Here's the thing. They've won at an extremely high level. Yes, they haven't played.
They've won at a high level, 340th schedule in the country, strength of schedule. And
you saw Matt Brown's reporting on this, right?
Yes. I mean, he lives out in Ohio too, right? So he's very close to the situation.
But he said that they contacted BYU and Utah, among many other programs, saying, hey, we'd like to play you. And they essentially everybody turned them down.
Well, and we heard that when it was going on, right? Where they're like, we called a bunch of people to see if they'd play us. They said, no, they're afraid of us. It's like, all right. Anyway, bottom line is their quad 1 wins are 0 for 0. They have not won a quad 1 game. They haven't played in a quad 1 game. And at least Auburn, who Bruce Pearl, his son is obviously coaching for the Auburn Tigers.
Which, by the way,
super freaking
worked
weird.
That in a unique circumstance.
Did you see his post-game rant? His son's pregame rant in the locker room. It was just basically a scripted social media like, we belong here, everybody. And he's telling his team that, but it was really for everyone to be able to see him, and they knew they were going to put it out on social media, and it's just dumb. Bruce Pearl said, no, I think they should be in. Auburn, by the way, they've played 16 quad 1 games. 16 quad 1 games that Auburn has played. They're 4-12 in those quad 1 games.
And
they're 17-15 overall. I know they're in the SEC, but for heaven's sakes, they're not that good.
No, and that is my issue with how many teams the SEC is getting I'm going to call it, the pub they're getting about teams saying hey, the SEC deserves. They have 14 last year make it.
It was the most. I think it was the most by any conference ever. Yeah,
and they performed relatively well. But here's the deal: if you are 4-12 in quad 1 games, and your record overall is what, I don't think it should even be an argument that Auburn deserves to be in. I know what they're trying to do because obviously There's bonuses tied up.
Got to put your elbows out. Yeah. There's free marketing that goes with it.
Yes.
Your university is putting all this pressure on you. Obviously, there's a lot at stake.
So you're obviously fighting for all that, but I just don't think that. Well, okay, I don't think it should work out. Could it work out where the committee says, "Yeah, we'll put Auburn in there because they'll draw more eyeballs than Miami of Ohio"? I could see that happening, but I've also seen a story this week. It's more on the football front, but apparently Miami of Ohio is putting money where their mouth is. They've got boosters and whatnot that have stepped up and really have started investing in the Red Hawks in terms of football in particular. I'm sure it's extending to basketball to some level. That's actually an intriguing story that a MAC program is willing to compete with the big boys. And I don't know. I just think that if you're 31-1. I'm hard-pressed to think that you're not going to be playing in the NCAA tournament. But I have also – this goes back probably 20 years or so. Remember, Utah State had just a gaudy record when they were back in the Big West, if you remember way back when. I think they may have lost maybe 2 or 3 games that season, and they got left out of the NCAA tournament.
Right.
So stuff like this has happened before. I just hope it does not happen to Miami.
By the way, did you remember last night when or was it today? Earlier today, that the Texas Tech player hurt himself on the glass floor?
Yeah, Christian Anderson slipped on the glass floor, and it has caused all kinds of controversy. Now, Keba Keita for BYU was lucky to not get himself injured the other night. There's been multiple players. And
Kansas State had a guy saying it gave him migraines.
Yeah.
I will say it's weird when they're coming down the floor and their faces are lit up.
Yeah, well,
like from underneath, I'm like, okay.
And the first time I saw it, so I think it was a BYU game. Guy dunked it. It might be actually another game, and all of a sudden, it looks like the glass cracks right inside the arc there. I was like, what in the world just happened here? And I get the innovation they're trying with it, Alex, but if you can't have solid traction on this,
right,
you gotta figure something out.
It is so your mark though to do this floor at the tournament, at the conference tournament. All right, let's get to some Utah Jazz. They get the 17-point loss last night against the New York Knicks, and you heard the Will Hardy sound as we came in after the Jazz update. And what was interesting about that was he's exactly right. In fact, halfway through the third quarter, they were still right there, but an 80-point second half by the Knicks doomed the Jazz to a 17-point loss.
Spearheaded by none other than
your guy, JC, man.
00 himself, Jordan Clarkson. Now,
I'll tell you what he did. He had 27. What did the Brunson burner have? He had 28, right? I think they had 3 guys that were 26, 27, 28, something along those lines. And so lots of scoring. If you play the Utah Jazz this year, you might get a lot of points. But more importantly, the loss happens, and but they have guys playing hard. And what was the situation then with the injury to Keontae George? What did they figure out with this thing? The hamstring. I saw that
so it was a hamstring injury. We haven't seen an official update yet,
but you know, Ben Anderson. I saw his tweet when he goes, "Oh, you know, hamstrings can be finicky. You know, gonna have to."
Here's the deal.
We'll give you 3 weeks, and we'll give you an update again.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask you this question: over under of 1.5 games played the rest of the year by Keontae George.
I'll say it's over, but it's not by much.
I'm saying under. I don't think he plays again.
So how many games left? 17?
They've got
16, 17 games left?
I know there's a month left because the end of the regular season is a month from today.
Yeah, I think that it's around there, 16, 17 games left.
I don't think he plays again. The NBA will be looking very closely.
Oh, that would be just as big as could you imagine? Well, okay, so what about Lauri Markkanen's impingement?
Now, so they officially declared it's 2 weeks. They're going to reevaluate him. I would assume they reevaluate and say, hey, he needs another week. And then there's another week of like the reconditioning that happens. And then maybe you see
illness.
him.
You see an illness in parentheses like 2 or 3 days after that?
He got sick. I actually do think Lowry plays before the end of the regular season. Personal opinion, but
You think he's done for the year?
I think he is done. And I know that is.
I bet he plays 2 more games.
Okay, you say 2 more. We're talking right at the tail end of the season.
Right at the tail end of the season, and they will be inconsequential, which also makes it hard too, because then they really would kind of shut it down. But at the same time, you don't just shut it down. But yes, a hamstring injury is an easy one to be able to. You can launder those injuries.
Anybody who's ever hurt your hamstring, you know how difficult it is to really get back to
Yak,
where
I
you
like
were.
this talk. I like this talk. Anybody who's done the hamstring, you just can't be too careful.
Because it's a very important muscle in your body. It's just, and you can re-injure it so easily. And I only hurt my hamstring one time in high school, and I can tell you, it affected me for the next 6 months because I kept retweaking it.
Yak rolls up with the hamstring's pretty important. That's what you got to tell the doctors at the NBA.
Well,
hamstring's pretty important, you guys.
I did quote tweet Ben's thing saying, "Here's the NBA. It's like a magnifying glass of examining."
Oh yeah, for sure they will be.
I'm telling you, Adam Silver has opened a massive can of worms with his fine of the Utah Jazz because it is now essentially the NBA saying that, oh no, we will dictate how you play your lineup, how you will go about rotating your players in game. It has caused mass issues, and I don't think he completely understands the ramifications of what he did when he did that. And Rick Carlisle has called him out because obviously Indiana also got dinged in all of that. They took a $100,000 fine versus the $500,000 that the Jazz took. But this will be something that will be talked about and monitored and just kind of thrown in his face at times going forward because it was a really, really bad look for Adam Silver and the NBA to do what they did.
So, again, Utah getting the loss last night, and after they'd won 2 out of the 3 prior to that, we were all looking at each other going, what's going on here?
Are they going to screw themselves out of that pick? I'm telling you, this Jazz team, they're going to be really good.
Sure.
They're just, you can see it. It's
don't ruin it.
But don't ruin it now. Next year, turn it on. It's all systems go. Everybody go for it. But right now, and this sounds so bad to say, but that is like the saving grace that the Keontae George went down with that hamstring. But that's what the circumstances is for this Utah Jazz team this year. They're trying to hold on to that pick. They're trying to stay right there somewhere in that 5, 6, 7 range in the lottery. Maybe even move up if they can. Now, history suggests the Jazz will not
they won't
get that because they've never.
I've done enough of the sim lottery drawings that I've convinced myself it's not going to happen.
But the situation is hold on to this pick, add another piece, and go after it next season.
The Jazz have played 66 games, so we are looking at a 16-game rest of the year.
Yeah,
Hold on for one more day.
So you think he sits out the next 14, maybe the last 2 he comes back for? I think that with that injury, he doesn't see the court again this year. I really don't.
Last night, Karl-Anthony Towns, Cat gets 21 points. Jalen Brunson, 28. As I said, Jordan Clarkson off the bench, going 3 for 5 from 3. He's comfortable on the floor out there, shooting from his spots at the Delta Center, even with the Knicks jersey on. 10 for 15. Mm-hmm. He took 15 shots. It's only behind Jalen Brunson for the most on the team that they took. But he gave himself a 26-minute night and 27 points, so more than a point a minute. Good for JC, a kind of guy that – did he get the – I didn't see if he got the standing O.
He did.
He did. He better
And
have.
the other thing is Jordan Clarkson is beloved here. He he ingratiated himself to the fan base. I think he said last night he actually kept his house here. Like a lot of guys, when they come to this community, they seem to enjoy it, and they keep their residences here.
He's like, I love Pepperwood. It's beautiful this time of year.
But the thing is, Clarkson he is a unique individual. And so, you know that we had Joe Ingles on with DJ PK for the 8 years we had him on. Joe and Jordan Clarkson might be the unlikeliest bunch of players to be like, you know what we're going to do after we retire? Joe said this on air. He said, JC's going to come to my house. We're going to sit on the deck. We're going to drink beers together. I would have never put Joe Ingles and Jordan Clarkson as like the two guys who would do that, but they're the best of friends. And I kind of think it screams who Jordan Clarkson is as a player. He's as real as they come. He plays the game, and you can see there's just a joy in the way he plays it. And it doesn't hurt that he's an incredible marksman from beyond the arc.
So they take the loss last night with 4 of the Knicks in 20-point-plus games, including Anunoby, who had 22 as well. But
Anunoby, yep.
So they have the Jazz have 16 games left, like I said, and it looks like this the rest of the way, or at least in the very near future here. Knicks, they've got to go up to Portland tomorrow. They go to Sacramento. See how that one goes. It'll be interesting to see if they could get the L in Sacramento. And then you got a lot of folks who are trying to play their butts off a little bit here. Mm-hmm. You've got the Timberwolves They're they just want to make sure that they stay ahead of a couple teams here and there in the West because they're one of the better teams that are obviously going to be in the full-on playoffs. The Bucks have given up. The 76ers have kind of given up, and the Raptors are going to come into Utah on the 23rd. And so there's going to be a lot of opportunities for them to. I mean, they still have to play the Wizards, the 76ers, and the Bucks, and the Kings. Those are all games that you look at and go, "Don't you freaking dare! Don't you dare!" And they're playing all these teams that are really bad and worse than they are in the standings, and they want to be there too. So most of the time when you go, "Oh, the strength of schedule is very, very favorable," it's not for the Jazz. The strength of schedule is extremely bad, which is not good. So they have the 23rd easiest schedule the rest of the way. I don't like that at all. That's not fun. Only 7 teams with quote-unquote easier schedules along the way.
And therein lies why I'm telling you I don't see I don't see Keontae George playing the rest of the way. Because he is good enough in terms of his ability. Just the leap that Keontae's taken this year has been absolutely remarkable. Like, he's just been lights out. But the fact that they've got that easy of a schedule down the stretch.
Yeah, but look at this. They've got the Rockets and the Thunder in a span of 2 days at the beginning of April.
Sure.
Put them in those 2 games.
Absolutely.
And then you shut it down for Pelicans, Grizzlies, Lakers. Boom.
That's when, the Rockets and the Thunder are going to be gearing up for a playoff run, a championship run, hopefully, for the Thunder. And Rockets obviously have the aspiration as well. Yeah, those are the games. Yeah. You want to come back for those? Great. But then, hey, he re-aggravated.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Another tweak. Just use the word tweak and we're good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have a Would You Rather next. Jacob Hatch sitting in for our own Jeremiah Jensen. Yak is nice enough to hang out today and tomorrow, so we'll be right here with you. Stay right along with us, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody! Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. We're talking about the SEC and the record-setting 14 teams they had in the 2025 NCAA tournament. They're projected right now to get 11 in. Okay, that's a little bit more. That's a little bit more consumable, right? You can. 14 was insane.
Yeah, it was a lot.
But the SEC also won a national championship in basketball with Florida winning it. Mm-hmm. Not something they can say about football. Let's put yourself in the place of an SEC fan or someone in SEC country, because I hate people who are like, I'm a SEC fan. My niece goes to Georgia, and she's insufferable. You know why? Because they freaking win.
Go Dogs!
And she's the best, but they freaking win. And it'd be fun to go to a school where all you did was go to national semifinals.
Well, sure, yeah.
Boo-hoo. We didn't win the national championship.
You feel like it's a disappointment if you didn't make it.
Yeah. So I want you to put yourself in the place of an SEC country. Would you rather get 14 teams in the NCAA tournament every year and win the national championship every 1 or 2 years? Or get 2 or 3 teams in the college football playoff every year and you come up short, and every 4 years or so you win a title there?
Ooh.
Because everybody knows that you think to yourself, oh, well, the SEC, that's a football conference. Not the case. The Big Ten has been – I mean, we used to have these were reverse roles, Jake. With us growing up, it was reverse roles.
Yeah, well,
the SEC was always a football conference. They had some decent basketball programs, great. But they were never the ones who were going to be – I mean, basketball just meant more in the Midwest, and football just means more in right. And the SEC, it just means more in football. So would you rather have 14 teams in your conference going to the big dance and winning a national championship, or 2 or 3 of your teams going to the college football playoff every year?
Okay, here's the additional question I want to ask you on that in this hypothetical. Of those 14 teams, how many of them do you get into the Sweet 16?
So let's say, I wonder how many there were too, because
that's the thing is these tournament shares that come out of this. Each one of those teams, each round they advance is extra money.
Yeah, for the whole conference,
and it goes for over like the next 5 years. Like you get paid out So that's the reason I asked that question, is because if you can have, of those 14 teams, let's say 10 of them, I don't know, make it at least second round, you have 8 of them in the Sweet 16, like you have half of the final 16 teams. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Those tournament shares rack up real quick and actually looks very, very good in terms of having extra money to invest in your other sports. And the other thing about the SEC is, yeah, football has always meant more to them, but they realized, hey, with all the money that we've been generating from football, why don't we invest some of that in basketball and become a two-way force? Now, to your point, the Big Ten's taking the football side of it away from them.
I got your answer for you. 7 of the SEC teams.
So they got 7
in the Sweet 16 last year.
In that circumstance, I probably would take the 14 teams.
Elite 8, they go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
4 of the Elite 8. And then, of course, they ended up, Florida and Auburn were both in the, they had to play each other in the semifinal to see who was going to go to the final, and then Florida ended up winning this thing. That's as successful as a conference run as you could have. And that's not just by virtue of getting the 14 there.
Yeah.
Because we've seen, the SEC's done this in football before. Mm-hmm. They did this last year. They got 5 teams in?
5 in, yeah.
In the College Football Playoff, not in the National Championship game. So that can bite you in the butt. I'm a football guy, but 14 teams in the NCAA tournament every year has got to be the choice.
I was going to say, if you have 14 teams and 7 make the Sweet 16, you mentioned 4 make the Elite 8. Yeah, those tournament shares, they rack up real quick, and they're going to pay off over multiple years. I know that the prestige factor from football is what really matters to the SEC because, as you mentioned, we are the big dog in college football. Well, the Big Ten owns the last 3 national championships, so you've lost that edge. But right now, the way that the NCAA tournament payout is coming in terms of the multiple years it pays out over and how many shares you can get, I'd probably be hard-pressed not to take that.
I forgot last year, too, every number 1 seed in the Final Four last year was the first time in like 21 seasons.
We went chalk.
All 4 ones, and Florida and Houston go at it, and Florida got the win, of course, in the national championship game after Duke melted down in those last 2.5 minutes against Houston. So, all right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have more right here on the KSL Sports Zone. If you missed it, the Utah State Aggies beating the UNLV Rebs 80-60, a 20-point win. Mason Falsoff with 24 points on the day as the conference player of the year. He showed up, and he showed everybody else that he should be that guy, and he is. And right now, Grand Canyon is leading Nevada 9-2 early. The winner of that game will take on the Aggies tomorrow in the Mountain West Tournament. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk some spring football. Oh, thank heavens for talking some football. And we can actually justify it. We've got sound from Provo. Mm-hmm. We've got Utah in the news, of course, because of a massive donation from a very, very an anonymous donor to the University of Utah program. We'll come back. More to go. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.